Think about this. What would the world look like if each of us was operating at our highest self, fullest potential, unity consciousness, mastering all planes of existence? You look to the brother to your left, he is tapped in. You look to the sister down the street, she is tapped in. Each of us choosing to fill ourselves up, but also choosing to fill the community up. A community backed by higher conscious thinking. Think about that. You see, we have a lower self and a higher self. We have the physical and the spiritual, the dark and the light, the masculine and the feminine. And this is the divine rhythm of this universe. However, this world has tricked us into only seeing one aspect of self, and to only seeing one side of self. And so, especially during these times right now, we have to be willing to see beyond the lower conscious states we've been programmed to be. And so that's the lore we're going to dive into. How do we connect to the higher self? What is the higher self? Because I mentioned it in my last lives, and I realized we never really did a video on it. And it's key right now. But before we get into this lore, something came to me. And just in the era of moving with intention, in the era of moving with that heart space mindfully, right? This is the mission. To anybody seeing this video right now, whether you're subscribed, you're not subscribed, this is your first time watching Elevated Talk, hello, my name is Mark Anthony. This is the mission. To move, to impact, and inspire deeper realization in all beings. And that can be a variety of things. It's as simply as telling your mom the wonderful phrase you've heard many times now, that freedom has always been an option. Then maybe she asks, what does that even mean? Then you give her the lore, right? Then you give her the lore. Or you just send her the link over to the channel, right? But this is the mission. This is how I want to show up in my life too. This is how I want to show up for you guys. And impact and inspire, it don't mean you out there on the side of the street talking about, hey, y'all need to wake the fuck up. The government been lying to your ass. I mean, if you called to it, do it. But it's not personal advice. It's just showing up for yourself, impacting yourself, inspiring yourself. Why? Because the greatest thing that we can do right now, is heal. Because we are cells of Mother Earth, of Earth. Right? So, today's lore. The higher self. What is the higher self? As stated, we have a lower self and the higher self. The lower self is that part of self that is egoic thinking, right? That is, it sees the duality and only knows the duality of this world. Is attached to the physical identity, right? And when I say these things, it's important to recognize that there's a reason for this divine flow. Because you cannot have light without the darkness, right? So one thing I had to learn in my journey was not to shame the lower aspects of self, but to heal the lower aspects of self and move in this physical nature, this physical illusion, this physical dream that we call life with a divine knowing, right? And so that comes from transcending through the chakras and tapping in with your higher conscious states, tapping in with your crown chakra, activating that energy within you, right? Chakra course down below. When you begin to understand that you have these aspects of self, it no longer lets you look at life so dull and so meaningless. But the higher self lies in what I just mentioned, lies in leaving those lower conscious states. Because like you have a higher, not a higher self, a lower self and a higher self, That higher self is that part of you that is not bound by this physical space and time. It is your soul. It is that connection with your spirit that is you, as light manifested into the physical, a human, right? Your higher self are the aspects of you that, I want to word this so it doesn't, and sometimes it does happen. Your higher self is that higher thinking. It's an energy, it's a vibratory state, but it's also a perspective that you have. It's a knowing of yourself. It's a knowing of your connection. Your higher self is the part of your being, like I said, that is not bound by space or time. It can see the future. It can travel into different dimensions. It can tune in to new realms. Because as we know, these realms, these existence, these places, they're not off in the distance, but they are a vibratory state. They are a vibration that by choosing to transcend your conscious states, you can begin to tap into. Your higher self is your higher thinking. It's your higher way of living. It's an energy state, right? Essentially, you are your higher self right now. You simply have just not connected to it because it's there. We're always being guided, right? It's the part of ourselves that can encompass the past lives, the ancestors, all of that right here in the right now, because you are an infinite being. Your higher self is your truest self, spirit, soul. All right. So the question then becomes, how do I unlock and connect with the higher self? Check out the lore on the channel. But seriously, how do we connect and unlock our higher self is doing the things I just stated. It's leaving that attachment. It's going back and watching the videos on YouTube, because I've purposely left bit by bit, pieces by pieces, and all the things that we've mentioned literally lead you into those higher conscious states, literally connect you with that higher part of self, that version of yourself that has a knowing of your true self, right? All the things that we've mentioned here on Elevated Talk have been pieces that lead you to your higher self, doing the healing, letting go of the program limitations, freeing your mind. One of the very first videos we dropped on the rebrand of the channel, my OGs know, shout out to you, right? All have been leading to becoming your highest self, but it starts with the healing. It starts with tapping into higher conscious states. And so in my past videos, I know I said the chakras are for beginners or anything like that, but truthfully, to this day, I still revisit the chakras, because they are those realms within inside of us that hold the karmic lessons, the karmic cycles that are needed to help us heal and evolve in this present life, right? So with that said, the reason why I really wanted to do this video is because we are in some interesting ass times right now. We're in that age of Aquarius. We're in that age of information, right? A lot of dots are starting to connect. Things are starting to surface. However, the people who have held this matrix together by their capitalistic ways, their spell casting and demonic use of this universal power that is within all of us, is starting to crumble. Yet, think about when you was a kid, right? And it was the last cookie, right? Maybe you had a sibling, maybe you had a cousin, right? It was the last cookie. And I'm talking about it's crumbs in the box. You got the last cookie, right? Think about how and you've been looking forward to it, right? This might not be the greatest analogy. Hold up. Because I'm thinking hold up. That might not be the greatest analogy, right? So what I'm trying to say is, these beings who have held and created this lower conscious spell, the spell that has kept us all in lower conscious states. This spell is literally being lifted as we speak right now. Like some abracadabra shit. But the reason why I mention this is because we're in the very beginning of it. And we as a people have to be willing to be proactive and not reactive. And I'm talking about on all planes of existence. Financially, spiritually, mentally. And so that requires us to operate on a higher level. Why? Because my analogy with the cookie thing was that you were going to fight to have that cookie if your siblings came and try to take it from you. You were going to fight to the end, right? And so that's what's going to happen. These beings are going to try to fight using their misinformation, AI with their destructive ways to try to trick the mind, using their Hollywood ploys that is crumbling, right? Using their wealth to try to sway things in their direction. But here's the thing. This spiritual force that lives within inside of you right now, as you begin to connect and awaken to it, is so much more powerful than these motherfuckers could ever think. But we have to be willing to stop allowing their appetizing conveniences to trick us out our spiritual bag, to trick us out our spiritual knowing. And so that's why we have to connect with our higher selves right now. We got to do the healing. It's going to get uncomfortable. But no, you're not alone. These videos are going to be dropping every Tuesday and Friday. Be here. Or go watch another soul. No matter. We all spend the same information, right? Right? The shift is here, bro. And it's going to call for all of us. Dr. B. Serious has this saying. I might be paraphrasing here. Nature not gonna force you to evolve, but if nature needs you to evolve, you can be damn sure nature gonna come get you, and you gonna go through some evolving. And that's all we've been talking about here on these past few videos. It's that winter energy, that Pluto and Aquarius energy. We're here to shift, right? I want to end this lore with this, right? Really think about it. What would a city look like if it was economically sustainable, backed by higher conscious beings using their knowledge of wealth, monetary systems, but also their knowledge of their ancestors, right? By connecting with their higher selves, embodying the ancestors, gaining their knowledge, healing the karmic lessons, seeing ahead into the future, using the intuition and the clarity that comes from that connection on operating on that highest level, using that knowledge to create a sustainable economy that uses Earth's resources sustainably to fund and create a wealthy community, because they no longer depend on these private corporations, but they depend on each other. Robert Marcus down the street got a garden, right? I'm trying to think of some powerful ass names. Marcus down the street got a garden. Deja down the road got a garden, plus her mom got a shop where she can sell produce and things like that. So Marcus and Deja, they meet up and they like, hey, my mom owns a shop. She'll be love to, get some of your not groceries, get some of your food and sell it at the shop, right? So then boom, exchange. And then What's happening though is now Marcus the farmer is also getting publicity. So now more people are wanting Marcus stuff. So now more people are willing to pay for it. So now next thing you know, Marcus got an acre of land, and he just became the city or towns or whatever first farmer, right? But it starts with us being willing to think and see differently about our society and how society works. And that starts by leaving the conveniences and the program mindset that we have been programmed into, and choosing to recognize the power that we each hold spiritually, mentally, and physically. And then when we bring that power together, what we could create, what this earth, this new earth could be, it will be our choice. It will literally be our choice. And to ground it and come full circle, it starts with healing, bro. It starts with tapping in with your highest self, going through the chakras, reading, taking time for isolation. Be the caterpillar that goes to the cocoon and spreads its wings. That's my spiel. Thank you so much for joining me here. My name is Mark Anthony, here at Elevated Talk, the Cosmic Show. Remember, freedom has always been an option. Much love. Peace.